For a lot of people who make music, making the melody is generally accepted to be the hardest part of the song. So today, I'm hoping to share with you some information about how to make a really nice sounding melody. There are three main things you want to consider when beginning to make a melody. You want to consider the mood that you want to convey with the melody. Things like, do you want it to be happy, you want it to be sad, you want it to be threatening, you want it to be exciting, you want it to be peaceful, calming. Just think about that. Think about what emotion you want it to be first of all. Throughout this video, I'll explain how to invoke the emotion that you want using what you have. Another thing to consider is the pace. Now the pace is different from the BPM. With BPM, you can have a high BPM, you can have a low BPM, but pace is more about the timing between the notes, like relative to the BPM. So you can have a low BPM but a fast pace by using a lot of quarter notes, well, 16th notes, small notes, stuff like that. The third thing you want to consider is the rhythm of your melody. So as you'll see later, I will show examples. If you have a very straightforward rhythm like dun 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 dun, like, wait, hold on, I'll clap. Like, that's a straightforward rhythm, or like straightforward rhythm. Then sometimes you can have a rhythm with a lot of syncopation, which sounds like. It's not like syncopation is good and lack of syncopation is bad. Syncopation, by the way, is accenting off beats. I'll explain it more later. Whichever one you choose will change the feeling of your melody. Now we'll start with this example that I've made. All these examples here, they all have the same chord progression, same bass. I just made the melodies different. So first thing you'll notice about it is that I have these little notes here that sound like, that sound like this. You hear that there? This note is non-diatonic, it's not part of the scale. I use it over here and here as well. That's just a little thing that I like to do, and it really, just jiggies it up a little bit, it makes it sound nice. If I remove it, it sounds like this. It just doesn't sound the same. It sounds a lot better with this little non-diatonic little. Oh, that was so bad. And another thing you'll notice is that there is syncopation in this, which I said I would explain later. But what that is you see how this note is kind of halfway through one of the beats. Each one of these thick lines is the start of a beat. This is halfway through it. That's basically what syncopation is. Accenting the, or not accenting, what's it? Putting stress on the offbeat. So if I remove the syncopation by making this in time with the beat, it just doesn't sound the same as well. It sounds like this. And since I've added the syncopation, it gives the music more of a feeling of being loose, being like free. It's not bound by the rhythm as much. It's kind of free to do what it wants. Another thing you'll notice about this is that it uses a lot of chord tones. So like this, all four of these are chord tones. These are all chord tones, I'm pretty sure anyway. Well, okay, never mind, this isn't a chord tone, this is that note there. That adds a little bit of tension in it, nice little thing. But for the most part, the rest of them are chord tones. And then, maybe the final thing you'll notice, or maybe you have not noticed, is that this chord here is non-diatonic. This chord is fucked up. And this isn't a video about chords, so I won't go into it. But all I'm saying is, even if you are using a non-diatonic chord progression, you can still apply the same principles. These are all chord tones. And there you go. First tip to writing a good melody, just like envision a melody. The best way to do it is to listen to a lot of music that is the same genre as what you want to make. And then eventually, over time, you'll develop a sense of just being able to feel a melody. Like this, I just kind of envisioned in my head, like this little ditty here. And I thought, oh, that would sound nice. You eventually get a feel of what kind of melody would sound nice. And then after that, it's just a matter of translating what's in your head to the MIDI. We're going to look at the effect of making a melody that contains a lot more non-chord notes in this one. Now, I'm pretty sure these are some non-chord notes. I use more non-chord notes in this melody than in the other one. The effect of that is that this melody is quite a bit more tense than the other one. The other one felt more calm and smooth. This one feels like it's got a little bit of aggression in it, like just a sprinkle. It feels like it's got a little sprinkle more tension, a little sprinkle more aggression. Adds a different mood to your music. This is one where I used no syncopation at all. This isn't syncopation because it comes in a group of two. If it was just that, this would be syncopation. I used mostly chord tones in this one. I used a non-chord tone here, you know. I sprinkled some around. I don't actually remember how many I put in. Not many, that one as well. Most of them are chord tones though. And the effect of having it all just straight rhythm, no syncopation at all. As you can tell, I don't count this as syncopation because that's just kind of a little extra flair I put on the notes. The effect of that is the music feels more constricted. It feels more like locked down to the rhythm. And maybe by the way I describe that, it makes it sound like a bad thing. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you want to have a rhythm that's just like straight, just a simple rhythm, then this can be good. It can make the music sound more simple, opposed to syncopated music, which can often sound more complex. This is about the pace that I was saying before. This one is more fast-paced. As you can see, it's got a lot more notes. And that one, I didn't use any of those little flares that I was describing before where I do this. I didn't use any of these because I was already using notes smaller than that quantization, so if I did, it would feel a bit strange. I mean, I kind of did it here, but I wouldn't say that's it. That's meant to sound more like swingy rather than flary. But again, mostly in chord notes. I did definitely use out of chord notes, especially this one. This is actually technically non-diatonic. It's just a lot, faster paced. It's got the same mood, same feeling, but it's just a faster pace. And it would go better with something that sounds faster. So the final thing, I'm going to be making one more melody just to kind of go through the thought process. So delete this. Then first we need to assess what kind of mood do I want it to have. I feel like making this one a bit more aggressive, so I'm going to add outside of chord note. Basically, rule of thumb generally, if you want your melody to sound pleasant and nice, you use more inside the chord note. If you want your melody to sound unpleasant, you use out of chord notes, and maybe even some non-diatonic notes out of chord notes. So I want mine to sound kind of a little bit tense and aggressive, so I'm going to make sure to use some out of chord notes. And then I also want mine to be medium pace. I don't want to be too slow or too fast, so I'm going to make it medium. And I do want syncopation in mine. I want mine to be syncopated, I want mine to be like loose, free. So first of all, I'm just going to listen to the chords. That's the first step. Just listen to your chords that you have and think of a melody that could sound nice over it. I'm just going to listen to this chord. Into my head, something like do 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 do. Something like that could sound nice. So I'm going to start on maybe this note. And I'm making sure to use inside the chord notes for this. Just because this is more of the faster sections, it's better to use inside the chord notes. You know what, actually, I might do this. I'm going to use this, which is outside of the chord. I don't even know if this is diatonic. There we go. That's what's come to my head immediately, just for the first chord. And then I think this would nicely move back down to this note. Maybe here, I'll see how this sounds. I think that one's too low, so I'm going to move it up to here. Yeah, and that sounds right. To me, I've tinkered around with it, and now I think this sounds right. But I think this part's a bit too slow, so I'm going to speed it up a little by adding some more notes. Then I want to find a note that kind of resolves nicely after this. Goes with this chord. So maybe I'll do C sharp. Oh yeah, that sounds quite nice. Okay, to me, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound very good. So I'm just going to drop it down to G sharp. That sounds more right. And then for this last chord, I want to go up high, up to the top. Remember to keep re-listening to your music, to your melody. I want to go higher than that note. That note doesn't sound right. So just choose the next diatonic note higher than that. So what's that? C sharp. Next diatonic note is like D sharp, I think. That nicely brings us up to, I think there's a note somewhere in this area, which is in this chord. You need to be careful with these chords, since they're non-diatonic chords. And it's E, I think. Oh, that looks nice. And I'm just going to use some chord tones. So what note's this? B. Go from B. Right, and then this didn't sound quite right to me. That sounds more right. You know, I don't think this one is as good as the other ones I've made, but I've made 5 melodies over the same chord progression now. But anyway, I'm going to play these one after the other, and tell me in the comments which one's your favourite. Nope. Right. Anyway, that's it. I hope I've given you some inspiration to make some lovely sounding melodies. And don't be afraid to steal mine, you know. You like straight up, I will put the MIDI for this in the description. You can steal the chord progression, you can steal any of the melodies. Just Just, keep having fun, keep doing what you love, which is hopefully making music and not hating on like count. Which is not a thing that people do, but it would just be really sad if that's something that you love doing. Bye. Make some cool melodies, guys.